You are Locked On Rockets Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Nice and easy will never get old, and that is exactly what it was for the Rockets tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. Nice and easy, never in doubt. Basically, from the jump, they look like a team that was destined to win this basketball game, and they held on to a very nice cushion throughout the entire basketball game to get this victory tonight over those San Antonio Spurs. Hi there. Welcome to the Locked On Rockets Postcast tonight. Appreciate you guys stopping by, making some time for us here on your Wednesday evening as we discuss the Rockets hammering of the Spurs by a final of 127-100. The Rockets moving to 5-3 now on the young season. A very good start to the season now through the first 8 games for this Rockets team. This episode tonight of the Locked On Rockets Postcast is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, so there's nothing to complain about tonight. To me, that's my favorite thing to have, is when I can come into a show and have literally nothing to complain about. You want to know why I have nothing to complain about? 56% from the field, 37% from three. They only turned the ball over 11 times in the game tonight. They won the rebounding battle, 45-41. They forced 19 turnovers for the Spurs. They held the Spurs to 100 points. I have nothing to complain about. I am even choosing to not complain about the fact that they missed 6 free throws in the game tonight. They went 9 of 15 at the line. I could come on here and complain about that, but I'm not going to. You want to know why? They won by 27 points. And as I mentioned, I can give you the very simple look at it. They kept them under 40 points in the first half, the Spurs, while they scored 63. And in the second half, they only let the Spurs outscore them by 2 in the third quarter. And then the Rockets won the fourth quarter by 4. So guess what? Net, they won by 2 in the second half. Stayed as is. And, I think the good thing to see here in a situation like this for this basketball team early in the season, and, if you've watched their games so far, you know this. They've had a little bit of a tendency, and it's not just a them thing. This is an NBA thing. It's a game. The game of basketball is a game of runs, and every team at some point in a game is typically going to have one. I mean, the Spurs came out in the third quarter, shot the ball well. It happens. But to me is tonight, and I know that Spurs team's not necessarily very good. They're not bad, but they're not going to be like great. But to go out and not let them have that run to get back into the basketball game, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And if they can do that consistently, that's where they're going to build goodwill with all of us, right? Yes, it's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to make you believe that, hey, this team can consistently get the job done when they need to get it done. And they can consistently go out there and build leads and then hold on to them. They're not going to, go out there and crush people like this all the time. We know that. We know that there's some deficiencies to the offensive game of this team at times. There's going to be a lot of nights where they don't shoot the ball that well. But one thing that I feel pretty confident is we know that the defensive effort is always going to be there. And that they're probably going to have a run at some point in every game. I mean, look, when you pump out a game like they did tonight with every single starter in double digits, getting 2 guys off the bench in double digits, I mean, just look at the plus minus board on the box score for all these guys is crazy. Jabari plus 15, Dylan Brooks plus 10, Alpe, plus 13. Fred VanVleet, plus 20. Jalen Green, plus 14. How about Tari Eason off the bench? He's on a run, man. Plus 23. Plus 20 for Amen Thompson. And plus 15 for Jock Landale was a plus 15 tonight. He also threw down 11 and 6. He might be the most unathletic-looking guy on the floor, but you know what? He can do it, baby. Fun night. These are the fun nights, right? These are the nights that you can relax. And they got good performances. And I want to go over too much. We've talked a little bit about Fred VanVleet so far this season, and what his future might hold with this Rockets team. They also got him and almost all the starters off the floor before the 30-minute mark of play on the night, which is nice. But, Fred has had a really tough start to the 2024-2025 season. And tonight was awesome. 10 of 11 from the field, 21 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. It turned it over 3 times, which is probably a little bit out of the norm for him. He's been pretty good at not turning the ball over. I only took 2 threes on the night, knocked down one of them. That's a perfect night for Fred. He needs to build off this because, for this team this season, and if you've listened to some of these shows that we've done already, first of all, thank you. If not, you can always go back and listen to them. I hope you find me enjoyable when it comes to going back and listening to dated audio. But at times this team can get into a trend where they're slow and they don't move very well. And I think we saw a lot of that time. We're going to talk about them finding their identity here in just a minute. So I think at 8 games in, we're starting to see it a little bit here. We're starting to see everybody kind of figure out roles and whatnot. Let you know if I'm happy with all the roles that I'm seeing. Any kind of disappointment for me. But I am very happy with the results. Okay, they came home and they took care of business, right? That's all you can ask. Yeah, they lost to Golden State. They took 2 out of 3 at home in this quick homestand. And, that other game was a darn near miracle comeback. If they pulled that one off, we're talking about a winning streak right now that's sitting at 5 games. Instead, it's just 2. They've won 4 of their last 5 overall. And I think one of the trends that you pick up on is go look at, even in their losses, not counting the overtime loss, there are 2 losses outside of that. They're holding teams under 110 every night. And if they're doing that on the defensive end of the basketball, guess what they're going to do? They're going to be a team that's right there in the mix in the Western Conference to be in the playoffs. Now, whether it's that silly little play-in or it's the actual playoffs, we'll see. Right now, I just close it up. Close up shop. Rockets are the 4 seed right now in the West. Let's go. 4 seed in the West. Cancel the rest of the season, Adam Silver. I want the Rockets in the 4 seed. These games do matter. They all matter, of course, the 82-game season. Yeah, I know you can make the argument that the regular season's diminished quite a bit because you play so many games and now, 20 teams in the league technically make it to the play-in or whatever. But for a team like them, this team, these games are so significant to go out there and get wins against teams that you should get. They've taken the Spurs on now 3 times already this season. I don't believe you see them again until I think it was April, maybe. Hold on. I'm trying to look at the schedule. I'm scrolling and I'm not seeing San Antonio. This is what happens when you try to scroll fast live. No, not April, February. You won't see San Antonio again until February 26th. They've already played them 3. That part does suck. I want to evaluate certain things, and you can evaluate them. But also, they've played 8 games, and 3 of them have been against one opponent. Stupid. Makes no sense. But again, they'll see them again February 26th. That one will be back here at the Toyota Center. That's actually a nationally televised game on the schedule for now for ESPN. We'll see if that one sticks or not. Maybe the Spurs will be so bad by then they'll pop them out and pop somebody else in. Let's talk about this team finding their identity through the first 8 games of the season. Some good signs for me. I'm liking what I'm seeing. We'll talk about that next. Guys, talking to you right now. Sometimes the intimate moments happen spontaneously. We always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints and Viagra and Cialis and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for the uncomfortable doctor's visits. Just answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you in discreet packaging for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/lockedon. Products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Locked On Rockets Postcast. Sorry, I still need this. I know it's what you guys tune into the channel for, to see me chugging out of my 100 milliliter bottle of water. But man, I go through way more of these a day than you would believe. Welcome to the channel. I am your host, Michael Connor. If you're new to this channel tonight, thanks for stopping by. Please hit that subscribe button. Don't be a stranger. Come back and join us. We'll do this again Friday night for Rockets and Thunder. Talk to you about that one here in just a bit. Got a busy weekend on this channel. By the way, this channel, if you're new to it again, Rockets, Texans, Cougs, Astros, we got you all covered when it comes to post-game coverage right here on the Locked On Sports Houston page. Make sure, of course, you're following this show here. You're also getting this show on podcast. Anywhere that you get your podcast, go and search Locked On Rockets. It's free. Anywhere that you get your podcast, like I mentioned, you'll get this show plus the Locked On Rockets show, which is hosted by Jackson Gatlin, the daily Rockets podcast here for Locked On. He does a fantastic job covering your Rockets. He's got, I was looking at his Twitter account earlier, he had some videos up from the game tonight, including the garbage time of Jeff Green and I think it was Cam Whitmore? Jeff Green and somebody playing rock, paper, scissors to see who would go in the game first in garbage time. That's one of the things so far that I don't love, that Cam Whitmore is becoming a zero factor for this basketball team. But we'll talk about that here in just a second. So again, check out Jackson. Check out his page for the YouTube page as well. Make sure you hit subscribe on the Locked On Rockets page as well. It does a wonderful job covering your Rockets. I've known him for a long time. Used to work with him in radio, and he is on it when it comes to your Rockets every single day. Tonight, the Rockets 127-101, the victory. You love to see it. It's kind of like you talked about it the other night when they, well, actually, I didn't talk about it because we didn't do a show that night because we had a Texans game as well. But it's kind of like when you play the Mavs, you know, it never sucks to beat the Spurs. I don't hate it at all. In fact, I kind of love it. And I kind of love doing it 2 consecutive times. Sure, it would have been nice to do it 3 straight times to them. But you know what? I can't be too picky, right? Beggars can't be choosers. So I'll just, sit over here in my corner and watch the games and hope for wins. And kind of like the Texans right now, if it's by 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points consistently, at the end of the day, that's all I care about, is that they end up with more points on the board than the other team. And if they do that, I will be a very happy man. Like I know all of you will be as well, because, well, why wouldn't you be happy? It's fun to be happy when it comes to the basketball team or a sports team in general in our fine city. And that's what we can be right now through the first 8 games of the season. And speaking of those first 8 games of the season, do they feel like to you guys, and you can post it in the comments there, whatever, does it feel like to you guys that they are finding an identity? Like, what would you say the Rockets' identity is right now, this very second of the regular season? I think that their identity is clearly tough, hard-nosed defensive team, which we knew they would be, with Ime Udoka being the coach. But I also feel like when we watch them now offensively, they're starting to find a little bit of their identity. And, Jalen Green has started to play better basketball. He had a good night tonight, 21 points. The shot is looking a little better. I liked some of the get the ball in his hands quick, whether it's, throw it out and shoot real quick or the pick and roll, handing it off to him and going up for the three-pointer immediately. I know that he's never going to be a knockdown shooter. I mean, he's a career 42% from the field, 33 from 3. I think that's probably where he's going to live most of his life as an NBA player. Right now, his three-point percentage is a career best at 37. If that keeps up, then that's good. The field goal percentage overall is down right now, but that seems to be, trending in the right direction recently. But I feel like they've kind of found a little bit of an identity on how they move. I've really enjoyed the last 2 nights in particular. And again, I did not in the Golden State game, that is in the second half. And I did not watch that Dallas game that night because, again, we had Texans. So that's the only game I've missed so far this season. But I feel like in these last 3 games, ball movement. I've really enjoyed ball movement. I've really enjoyed the flow of things. I think that they're just kind of, and you only play 4 preseason games now in the NBA. That's a short period of time to get yourself acclimated to each other. Even if there's a lot of guys returning, there's different aspects to the fold. They're going to introduce new wrinkles, whatever it might be, to where, this team has, you got to give them a little bit of runway to figure out what they're going to be offensively. We know that most nights they're going to work it down into the post to Alpi. Tonight wasn't one of those. That matchup against Wemby is never going to be great for him, but he still had a solid enough night. I thought that was one of the nice storylines of the night was that Alpi, didn't just completely get bamboozled. Not even bamboozled, but he just has a hard time. And who wouldn't against a guy that's 7'4" and it's got the wingspan of 12 feet or something. He just kind of struggles to get anything going offensively in those matchups when they play them typically. But he was good tonight. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to toss the rock down to Alpi. They're going to let Alpi work. They're going to let him cook, as the kids would say, and see what happens. They want to get out and be faster this year, which I was a big proponent of. I think that you're seeing some of that. I haven't looked at the advanced numbers to see exactly, where they stand in terms of pace and all that. But I would assume it's better than last season. And then they're also kind of I think they're finding their niche for players. How long is that bench going to be? Right now, Reed Shepherd's getting the bulk of the guard minutes off the bench. That's why, Cam Whitmore's been a non-factor for this team so far this season. It's disappointing from the standpoint of Cam Whitmore being a guy that last season, really stood out offensively. Now, I get why he's probably not getting a lot of minutes. Cam Whitmore has never been afraid of a shot. Cam Whitmore defensively probably has a long way to go, but the offensive talent is there. I hope that he doesn't get pigeonholed into a sit on the bench and not play role. That would be, to me, unfortunate for a guy that has the level of talent on the offensive end that he does, because they could use that kind of spark consistently. Amen Thompson is the other, guard. He's all over the place. They play him all over the place. he's the Swiss Army knife kind of that. He's one of the Swiss Army knives, but I think the real Swiss Army knife of you can play him. I mean, they'll play him at, I guess, every position basically at times. He's been really good at, doing everything when he's out there outside of shooting threes. We know he's never going to shoot well, but tonight, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block. I mean, you get that in 24 minutes of play, and he was perfect from the field. Be nice if he could hit some free throws. That's great. And then Tari Eason. Man, it's nice to have Tari Eason back. This homestand started with the game of his life the other night against Golden State. He basically willed the Rockets to that comeback on his own. Not on his own. I mean, that was a good quarter for it was him and Alpi and I think Jabari, where they went off. But it was really his energy more than anything else that kind of sparked that thing. And I think he's found his way into a good role. That's what I've liked about 8 games in. I feel like we're starting to see a little bit of the carving out of the roles. When you have Steven Adams available, he'll play his 15 to 20 minutes or whatever at max a game. He'll be in the mix there. And then there's a lot of guys that just aren't going to get that run. That's life in the NBA. Not everybody can play all the time. But I've liked some of the roles. I've liked some of the decision-making, ball movement so far this season from what we've seen. Let's take a look at the next game here for a couple of minutes. The Rockets and the Thunder will be a big one. We'll talk about that next here on the Locked On Rockets Postcast following a nice and easy 127-120 win over those San Antonio Spurs. All right, listen up, renters. Even if you feel like you're stuck in this loop of rent payments, just watching your money vanish into thin air, well, it's time to turn your rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. That's where Bilt Rewards comes in. Bilt is breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent. Every month, pay your rent and watch the Bilt points roll in. Use points to jet off on a dream vacation. Put your points towards a flight or hotel stay with 500 plus airlines and 700,000 plus hotels and properties. You can also use your points to book fitness studio classes, redeem them toward a future rent payment. They're designed to meet your lifestyle. Pay rent hassle-free through the Bilt Rewards app. Your rent game just got a major upgrade. Bilt points have been consistently ranked as the highest value point currency by the Points Guy and Bankrate. Earn points by paying rent right now when you join Bilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Join Bilt.com/LockedOnNBA to start earning points with your rent payments today. And one more reminder before we get back to our discussion on the Rockets win tonight over the Spurs. Hey, maybe you're looking to get into a game. Maybe you're looking to get into a concert, a comedy, whatever the big event is. That's right. The Game Time app is there for you. They've got tickets to anything that you're looking to get into, and it is going to be absolutely fantastic when you do. They've got a curation called the Game Time Picks that makes it easier to save on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. They've also got the all-in pricing feature. And you have to toggle this feature when you get into the app, but this shows you all the fees up front so that when you get to checkout, boom, no surprise fees. You know what you're paying for from the jump when you're looking at these seats. Also, I always harp on this one, seat views. Who doesn't want to have a picture of where they're sitting? Yeah, you should be looking at it. They've got the panoramic seat views in the app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. It is the Locked On Rockets Postcast following the 127-100 win over the San Antonio Spurs. I am your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sorry. We are discussing the Rockets' nice and easy win. You love it when it's nice and easy. You love it when they shoot the ball the way that they did as well. They were awesome tonight. 56 from the field, 37 from three. Okay, again, I'm not going to talk about the free throw shooting. That's fine. But a really, really solid win up and down the board, whether it was Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green was awesome. Really, everybody. There's not a single guy in here, and I'm not counting the guys that played the garbage time, but there's not a single guy that got significant minutes that you're like, man, he sucked. Reed Shepherd only had 5 points, knocked down 2 of 5, 1 of 3 from 3, but he also had 2 rebounds, 3 assists. So he factored in his minutes when he was out there. You'll love to see it for everybody that factored into this game tonight. Up next for the Rockets is a Friday night matchup in OKC against the Thunder. It's a 7 o'clock tip. We will, of course, be with you after the game wraps up for the Locked On Rockets postcast. Look, we know it. The Thunder are the best team right now in the Western Conference. And I'm looking at this as we do this live. They are 7-0. They are currently up on Denver. Just past the midway point of the third quarter. They're up by 9. So we'll see if they remain undefeated. It's a tough atmosphere to go play in. Their point differential this season is also insane. 17.4 per game is their point differential. They're playing unbelievable defense. They're doing everything. I've not seen who they've played off the top of my head. They've played so far, real quick rip through their schedule. They've played Denver, Chicago, Atlanta, San Antonio, Portland, Clippers, Orlando, and they're playing Denver again. So, I mean, it's not been the easiest of schedules. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean, he's going to be a monster. He's going to be a problem. Chet Holmgren's a problem. It's not a matchup. Look, the Rockets are going to go into that one, and on paper, they're going to be the underdog. And in the betting world, they're going to be the underdog. It is what it is. You just got to go out there and roll it out, right? I think when a game like that, pace to me is going to be important. Match the energy, set the tone for the game, and get out there and get a win. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel tonight. Come on back Friday night. We will hopefully be talking about another victory for this Rockets team as they could possibly move to 6-3 on the season and maybe be the team that gives Oklahoma City their first loss of the season if they don't end up losing tonight, which they're not currently doing as we do this show. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. We'll talk again Friday night right here on the Locked On Rockets